I'm Nathaniel.
And I'm Roseanne.
And welcome to another video from Exquisite Gardens.
In this video, we'll be covering the first 3 steps that I recommend in designing a new garden. Finding your inspiration, choosing a theme, which should guide all your future design decisions, and creating a wish list. So Nathaniel, what is your inspiration for your new garden?
Yeah, my inspiration is northern Minnesota. Around here, we call it the Northwoods. In 2010, when I moved to Minnesota, I wasn't actually too happy to be here. Over the course of a decade or so, I actually started to like and begin to call myself a Minnesotan, and proudly so. The thing that allowed me to do that is northern Minnesota.
Northern Minnesota, if you haven't been there, is absolutely gorgeous.
Then here where we are now, kind of in central Minnesota, it's a completely different landscape. Up there, the ground was scraped bare by the glaciers coming south, and so there's almost no topsoil. It's just exposed bedrock. And you know, unlike southern Minnesota where it's mostly prairie, or central Minnesota where it's mostly deciduous forest, northern Minnesota is almost all coniferous forest. And the thing that kind of makes it really unique is almost 2/3 of the land up there is also wetland.
So when you say wetland, are you like, I envision cattails and grasses? Is that it?
There's some of that, but actually what it is mostly it's forested wetland. And in particular, what I have in mind is an area of wetland it's called a coniferous bog. And what it is these kind of stunted coniferous trees, pine trees, green in the spring, but actually there's trees in there called tamaracks, and they actually turn red or brown in the fall, and then they lose their needles through the winter. And it's these trees throughout a bog, but you can actually walk through the bog because the bog is made up of these giant pillows of moss. And so you can walk through there by stepping from pillow to pillow to pillow, and if you look down in between those pillows, there's actually water all throughout, but you can go through there by stepping from one padded area to another area. And so it's a really unique landscape. And so, you know, the thing that kind of I find so inspirational about northern Minnesota is this contrast between beauty and the harshness of living up there. I myself, for the past 2 years, I've been building a cabin on 40 acres that we purchased. And that has been the greatest struggle physically of anything I've ever undertaken, because everything is so unforgiving.
So now, as far as the growing zone, are we talking about zone 3 or zone 2 up there?
At that point, it's zone 3. The area where the cabin is, actually, the geology of the land, it actually dips down into a bowl. And so the area where my cabin is the coldest area in the lower 48. Has the coldest temperature on record.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
And what temperature is that?
It's something in the negative 40s, yeah.
Wow, I applaud you. But it is gorgeous. I mean, the area, the boundary waters, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, I find it inspirational because you think in that harshness that, you know, that things wouldn't be able to survive. But actually it has these really long winters with really deep snow, and you wouldn't think that the plant life would be that diverse.
What are some of the flowers that you do grow up there?
Yeah, just naturally, especially along the roadsides, you kind of get these wildflower, kind of prairie type plants. And so in the spring, that's where all the monarch butterflies are. They're all kind of on the side of the road visiting all these little flowers. But if you go into the woods, I have found wild rose, wild honeysuckle, purple aster, and goldenrod. So there are lots and lots of flowering plants that I had not expected. And actually, the hill where we decided to build our cabin is covered in blueberry plants.
It really sounds beautiful. I can see why you would be inspired by that. But it does sound like it could be challenging to bring that to, you know, an urban environment, but I'm sure you've given it some thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I can't just, you know, bring the pine forest to my backyard. I'm only working with about 1/10 of an acre. But what I can do is I can bring some of those experiences of the Northwoods and just have hints and flavors of the Northwoods. And so
would you say that Northwoods is your theme for your new garden?
yes, my theme for my garden is going to be the Northwoods.
That's great, and I'm looking forward to hearing a lot more about that.
And so not only will the plants that are there be part of the inspiration, but also, that, like I said, that experience. And so you have those experiential things like the campfires at night under a clear sky with no light pollution. You can see all those stars. And so there's this camping and, firewood splitting and this earthiness of the Northwoods that I'd like to bring home. As well as culturally, the northern Minnesota had a large influx of Swedes and Finns, and they brought their culture along with them, and one of the things they brought with them was the sauna. And so that is one of the fixtures and experiences I like to have in my garden, in my backyard.
Cool. So I guess I'm hearing that a sauna might be on your wish list?
Absolutely. On my wish list, I'm going to have a few items, one of which is the sauna.
Okay.
The other one is going to be a patio where my family can eat outside.
Okay.
Another one will be a fire pit area where we can kind of enjoy a late night campfire with our neighbors. A vegetable garden that kind of has like a woodsy, cabiny cottage feel where we will be growing a lot of our vegetables. And then it doesn't totally fit within our theme, but it fits within something that I like to do personally, is I'd like to have an expanded vineyard.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
I am a huge fan of growing grapes, and what I like to do in the fall is pick those grapes, ferment them, and then make my own wine.
Well, I bet a lot of viewers would be interested in hearing more about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now you have children?
I have 2 kids, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old.
So are we imagining something special for them?
Well, they already kind of have a play area off to the side of our backyard, and so I have been informed by my wife that I should maintain that area and maybe even spruce it up a little bit for the kids.
Okay. That's a lot, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all develops. It sounds like you've given it a lot of thought and have some really interesting and exciting ideas.
Yeah, I'm very excited, one, to just experience the garden, but I'm also excited to share it with you and get your input, and I'm excited to share it with the viewers as well. Gardens are meant to be shared. Yeah, they're not supposed to be just a secret garden for just my family, but we want it to be a place where our neighbors can come and visit, where when we have friends and family over, we can host, but also just a place to get outside and just experience beauty and value those natural elements that are sometimes lacking in our day-to-day life, and also that are lacking in our current construction of the garden, which we'll be getting into at a later video.
That was really interesting, Nathaniel. Thank you for sharing, especially the Northwoods. I had no idea. I'm really excited about your plans for the garden, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Me too. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so that way you don't miss another update from Exquisite Gardens. In the next video, we are going to be revealing the grand design for my garden in my backyard. You're not going to want to miss it. So from us at Exquisite Gardens, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.